Good morning. I want to talk a little bit today about the freedom of speech, freedom of expression, the First Amendment, first of the four freedoms. We have seen a lot of attacks over the past several months, especially from the presidential regime, on our First Amendment rights. Our first protected right, that of expressing ourselves, freedom of speech. And we've seen it when he encourages legislatures to ban protests. We've seen it when he's gone out there and sent the military against protesters. We've seen it with the canceling of the Stephen Colbert show, and now with the yanking of Jimmy Kimmel off the air following the FCC director's comments for Kimmel's honestly tame comments in the wake of the murder of the hate organization Turning Point USA's leader. And I wanted to get on here right now and say, look, freedom of speech is a natural right. Meaning that it's a right. You can't take away a right. You can infringe upon it, you can attack it, you can try to deny it, but it's still your right. And it becomes part of a great deal of arguments that has been an argument over several years. As a state senator, assuming that I get elected next year, one of my main duties is to protect our rights. Now, the case in point I'm going to put here is there's a person down the road from me on a corner from two very busy roads. He puts up big, really offensive signs to me, praising the current occupant of the White House, condemning Democrats as communists, telling all kinds of lies, praising ICE, inciting people or advocating for harsher immigration reform and harsher economic tactics, right? They're terrible. They offend me every time. They make me angry. They do. And I've had several people come up to me. Lots of people come to me. I was like, how can you deal with it? Can't we get those signs, that guy to take those signs down? And my answer to them is, while I'm offended by them all the time, no, even I'm never going to advocate for a government coming in and telling a guy to take his signs down, because that's his expression. He's telling us who he is. There's going to be consequences for that, but not from the government. The consequences will be, he's a farmer. He's never going to get my commerce. He's never going to get my business, and I'm going to tell other people not to do business with the guy, right? I'm going to shun him, and I'm going to advocate for shunning him in our society because he's saying hateful things. He's trying to make more division, put more fear into us, and we should fight against that, but we should fight against that as a society. I don't have to accept his speech. I don't accept that it's correct or anything like that, but the consequences are societal, not from the government. And this is where I have a problem with how Kimmel is being taken off the air, because this is following the FCC's director's comment saying that he wants to get him off the air. Either the easy way or the hard way. And you had ABC take the hint, and of course, there's a bunch of other things going on behind the scenes having to do with a lot of money and whether we have more monopolies in our media market, and that's a totally different subject. But our First Amendment is about the government not limiting our freedom of expression. Our First Amendment is about not limiting our speech, our ability to gather together and criticize if we want to, or praise if we want to. It is a fundamental right. It is a natural right for us to express ourselves. And to have any government try to squash it is just wrong. We fought against that right from the start. And we will continue to fight against that and make sure that people always can express themselves. Now, there are consequences, like I said. You may lose your job if what you say is, by your company's view, not with their values. You may lose business because people don't want to deal with business with somebody who is expressing yourself the way that you are. If you're expressing hate, I would fully expect that you're going to lose business. I have no problem with that. I have no problem with society doing that. The government doing it, I do have a problem with. Now, I'm running for New York State Senate for the 54th District next year. And when I get elected, one of my main functions is to protect our fundamental rights, like our fundamental right of expression, our freedom of speech. Always going to do that. We have to do this. To do this is to remain the United States of America, and I fully intend for us to remain the United States of America. Anyway, just want to get that off my chest. All right. Talk to you later. Thanks.